Good afternoon, students. Well, the Nursing Capstone course is off and running. Great start to the semester. I thank you for all of your hard work to get your projects launched and to get your first written assignment submitted. I will be grading the project population papers over the weekend. And once that's accomplished, you'll be able to review my feedback by going back into Turnitin and clicking on your paper. If you have trouble with that, there are instructions on how to view feedback in Turnitin posted to Beacon Learning. As we move into the next 2 weeks of the course, you'll notice that your signed project agreement is due, as well as your nurse theory, background, and lit review paper. So first off, let's talk about the project agreement form. Please be sure that all signatures are obtained on that form before you submit it. And then your course faculty will take a look at that. And I save those in a file. I like to keep track of those. And it's my way of ensuring that both you and your project liaison have agreed on your project and we're all on board with what's going to be taking place for the remainder of the semester. As for your nurse theory, background, etc. paper, you're going to be focusing on a review of the literature. Your goal is to get out there and do a literature search, look at the nursing and other literature for information that's going to inform your health project, information that's going to inform your teaching strategies or your policy or whatever it is that your project is focused on. So I ask you in your assignment to be cognizant of the levels of evidence that we discussed in one of your nursing courses. Not that you have to retrieve all 7 levels of evidence, but I'd like that to be in the back of your mind. Your goal is to search for best evidence available to inform your project. And keeping that levels of evidence framework in mind is an excellent thing to guide your research. The other thing that I would like to talk about in terms of this paper as you're searching the literature is for you to be on the lookout for information that provides a historical perspective or a background about your paper. Remember, part of the research process is to think about where the project or the issue has been, things that we previously knew or understood, practices we previously engaged in. In some cases, there may be laws that have been changed. Certainly, the use of recreational marijuana is a good one. I had a student one time look at that issue in pregnancy, and so looking at past laws was very pertinent to that project. So your goal is to look for literature that's going to tell you about where your project has been, where your project stands now. You're going to be looking for where the gaps are in our knowledge and our understanding. And so keep these pieces in mind as you're searching the literature, because an article may pop up during your search that will inform a couple of those questions when you get to the background section of the paper. In addition, be looking for articles or sources of information that will guide perhaps your teaching strategies, that will support a strategy or a learning strategy that you're going to use, that will be evidence for a policy or a change or something that you're proposing. So you've got a lot going on in this literature review in terms of fleshing out your project, in terms of helping you understand the background, where your health issue has been, where it's going, what it is that we don't know. I also ask you to keep track of the literature search that you use, the databases that you're searching, the keywords that you're using. I like to look at that to see how you're conducting your search strategy. Sometimes students tell me I can't find any literature or it's all level 7. And if I have an idea of what your search terms and strategies and databases and websites, etc. are, then I can go back and look at that and help you perhaps find a little bit better or higher level of evidence. Not always, but it's helpful to write that down and keep track of that so that you know where you've been. Let's see, what else do I want to tell you about this? As we think about these levels of evidence and all of this, keeping track of databases and keywords, etc., remember the highest goal is for you to search for the best evidence available to inform and guide your health project. So if you keep that higher goal in mind, I think it will be helpful as you move through your literature search. Sometimes literature searches can certainly get overwhelming when you get thousands of articles back. So remember your good strategies for narrowing or expanding a search, combining words, those sorts of things that you learned about way back in Nurse 310 through a Scott Gallagher Stars instructional video. So the other thing that I'm going to ask you to do in this paper is to do a little bit of a critique or review of the articles that you've retrieved. I want you to really think seriously about the articles that you're going to use to inform your project. So be thinking about the population under study and the articles that you've retrieved or the information that you're using. Be thinking about things like how big was the sample size? Were participants protected? Was IRB approval obtained? How was the study conducted? Did the methodology seem reasonable, and the tools and the instruments that they used and the steps that they took throughout the project? What are the credentials, the experience, or the expertise of the people conducting the study or writing the article? Are they experienced in their field? Think back to what you learned about how to critique or review an article in your research course, as well as what you learned from Dickerson and Pope's evidence-based practice article. There's some really good information about questions that you can ask to help you determine the type of evidence that you're using. And then the last section of your nurse theory paper is going to ask you to revisit your timeline. So please take a look at the timeline that you submitted with your project agreement form. If you need to make changes, if you got off track, if there's something you added that has just come up that you know, oh my gosh, I forgot, or I need to add this, I need to be sure to do this step before that step, just update your timeline. Again, the purpose of that is to help you stay on track so that you know in these 2-week blocks of time what it is that you need to accomplish. It's just a way for you to keep on track, to be purposeful and planful as you work through your project, and to check to see where you're at. Are you on track? Are you on target? Are you getting behind? All of those are useful information as you try to break down a pretty big project and get it done within a certain time frame. Okay, that's it. That's all I have about your upcoming second paper in this course. Other things on the radar is our second Big Blue Button live chat. I sent an email about that and posted that, so that's available in Beacon Learning for you. And then be sure to schedule your second phone call with me between now and June 4th. So I'd like to talk with you to get an update on where things are at and see what I can do to assist you. So that's it. Thank you. Don't hesitate to call or contact me if I can help you in any way. I'm here to help you, and I look forward to the updates on your project and where you're at. Take care, and I'll be in touch again. Thank you.